Shalom, shalom, shalom. Those of you that's watching back, shalom. Those of you that are on, welcome to the second half of today's Shabbat class at Beulah Temple Kefarym. This portion of the class, we're going to be bringing forth our Torah portion, and that is we bring forth the scripture that we've been reading, been studying, that we want to present for everyone. Or maybe we might have a question, or you might have a question that you might want to ask the spiritual leader, Prince Israel. All right, so for those that's tuning in, welcome and welcome. This is the second class of the day. Second class of the day. Before we get a lesson in, this is when we do the Torah portion. Please like, subscribe, and share if you have not yet did that. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'm going to give some people some time to come in and try to find something else just to play. But you all get your scriptures ready if you have it, and you share it up on the screen. We will read it, and you can give your explanation as well. All right. All right.
Yeah. Let me talk to him. Can't take back my mistakes. I can only move forward. Yeah, that's right. Can't undo what's been done, cause it's done. So what we do? Don't judge me on my past. Don't judge me for my past problems. Don't judge me for the past. Tell me for who I am. Don't judge me for my past lives. Don't judge me for my past problems. Don't judge me for the past drugs. Tell me for who I am. Tell me for who I am. Brothers, we've been oppressed by the system, but can't play the victim. Gotta repair the women we broke and the children left with them. Build up the neighborhoods that we used to burn down. We used to be crack houses, rental properties now. Pray with instead of praying on our elders. Turn to the wisdom that whenever we followed, it never failed us. I know we have enemies, I'm not a fool. Can live by the bullet for knowledge. It's time that we choose. Similar to another choice that needs a redo. Covenant renewed, we've been reproved. That time is past. Now what we do can restore the whole nation. You are not your past. Congratulations, let's go. Can't take back my mistakes. I can only move forward. Let's get it. Can't undo what's been done, cause it's done. We know what we did, but don't judge me on my past lives. Don't judge me for my past problems. Don't judge me for the past drugs. Tell me for who I am. Tell me for who I am. Don't judge me for my past lives. Don't judge me for my past problems. Don't judge me for the past drugs. Tell me for who I am. Tell me for who I am. You've been abused, misused, and left alone. I'm sorry on behalf of the brothers we've done you wrong. Charged to be your protection, not bring you to harm. But there are things by your hand this nation suffer from. No more using children as leverage instead of blessing. Use your mind and not your body to get an advantage. Understand we need each other. You're not independent. The strength of humility, beauty is the standard you give it. Mend the sisterhood, make sure your sister good. There's power in numbers. Build the house again. Using love as the lumber. A woman is one of God's greatest creations. No, sis, you are not your past either. Congratulations, let's go. Can't take back my mistakes. I can only move forward. It's only gonna work. Can't undo what's been done, because it's done. You, us. Don't judge me on my past life. Don't judge me for my past problems. Don't judge me for the past Love me for who I am. Love me for who I am. Don't judge me for my past life. Don't judge me for my past problems. Don't judge me for the past drugs. Love me for who I am. Love me for who I am.
Let's go. Take it away.
I'll take each day as it comes. I keep looking forward. I won't dwell on the mistakes from the past. We shouldn't have done. Take back my mistakes. I can only move forward.
We say.
Can't undo what's been done, 'cause it's done.
Now everybody say with me. Say what?
Don't judge me on my past. Don't judge me for my past problems. Don't judge me for the past. For who I am. For who I am. Don't judge me for my past life. Don't judge me for my past problems. Don't judge me for the past. Love me for who I am. Love me for who I am.
All right. Again, welcome to the second half of class here at Beulah Temple Kefarym. This portion of the class, to start off, we go over the scriptures and we bring forth what we may have been studying, maybe have a question on, or maybe want to share with the class. Please post your scripture and then post an explanation. Lastly, if you haven't yet, subscribe, share, and like. All right, so I'm not sure if anyone on the panel. Before we do it, let's go into prayer. We're going to go into prayer first, and then we'll go from there.
Got some people get ready to come in. You want to wait for them?
Oh, yes. Okay. Actually, hold on, you all. Sorry about that. We got people coming in. Just give a second. I'll play another song. Not a full song, just a little bit of it. So we get started.
They sit in the car. I don't know if they just sit in the car.
So we just go ahead and go?
Yeah.
All right. Disregard that, you all. We're about to go ahead and do prayer. Hallelujah. Want me to go? Moreno, Abinu, Malkinu, אנחנו שואלים לבוא לכיסא שלך. תודה. תלך לנו על כל תרומה שהיא, פיזית, רוחנית ונפשית. Our Father, our Creator, our King, we ask to approach your throne. Please forgive us for any uncleanness that is physical, spiritual, or mental. Thank you for another opportunity to come before you. Thank you for another opportunity to come before your people. We ask that you give us the wisdom needed to bring forth the information that's going to help us to please you. Help us to stay in righteousness each and every moment of our lives. Teach us how to come back from anything that we are doing that is against you. We ask that you continue to mold Israel collectively. We ask that you continue to mold Israel individually, the righteous ones that do your will, O great King. We ask that you cover Beulah land and you keep us protected as we go into these feast days, into this holy day. We ask that you teach us as we come together how to be amongst one another, how to love one another, how to be there for one another. We want to give you all the glory and all the praise, and we ask that you cover those that wanted to be here, those that wanted to help here in Beulah land, those that wanted to congregate and build. We ask that you be there for them as well and cover them. Give us for any sins that we have committed that is against you, and continue to mold us so that we don't do it again, O great King, without harm or danger, if that's within your will. We give you all the glory, all the praise, forever and evermore. Aloeta Koa Haniki, Aloeta El Ha'elion. Praise the eternal power, praise the Most High. One of you all turn the light on back there? Oh, you did? Never mind. All right. Toda. Again, you all, this is the second portion of the class. And in this class, we bring forth our scriptures, any scriptures that we have been studying over the past day, the past couple days or week that we would like to present to the class. And if you can, please expound on that scripture. But if it is a question, let us know and maybe we can answer that question for you. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. For those of us that may have a scripture, if you can, go ahead, take the floor. Anybody on the panel or anyone in the Knesset. And again, while we wait on someone to step forward, please like, share, and subscribe if you have yet to.
Nobody ain't going, we gonna go.
Hmm?
Any of y'all wanna give a commandment?
I just have to find exactly that.
Excuse me.
All right. We have new people coming in. Again, this is the portion where we go over the Torah portion for this second class. If you have your scripture, do not hesitate to post it. And also leave an explanation if you would. Please share this class as well. Like and subscribe. Shabbat Shalom, everyone that's responding right now. Shabbat Shalom, Zakena Cecilia. Shabbat Shalom, Geber Autumn. Go ahead. Come closer though. Torah Rabbi.
Shabbat Shalom, Nikolam.
Shabbat Shalom.
My commandment is going to be coming from Shemot 22 and 21, which is Exodus 22 and 21. You are not to abuse any widow or orphan. And I chose this commandment because for a lot of people that might not be a part of our culture, they might look at us and say, due to some of the bad examples that we've had, well, we don't care about this, we don't care about that. It's not about, I don't want to say it's not about the people, but the order that the Most High gave us, it covers everybody, from the oldest to the youngest, man, woman, and child. And the Most High was very particular about the orphans and the widows because in our culture, unlike society today, everybody was, is communal the right word? Communal? In other words, community minded. They were communal, so there wasn't a such thing, in my understanding, as apartments where you had women living over here, you had whole other individuals living over there. We were always together within the camp, even if we didn't so-called fellowship all the time. And the Most High is very merciful towards those who, in lack of a better words, who couldn't protect themselves. Widows, I'm not saying they can't protect themselves, but widows, they look to their husbands to provide for them and take care of them, or their sons. And then the orphans, they look, with children with parents, you look to your parents. So the orphans are vulnerable and widows are vulnerable. And the Most High did not let them be taken advantage of at all. We see that in the next couple of verses. He said what would happen if you abused their vulnerability, what he would do to those men. And it's very serious. So I believe that here at Beulah, especially seeing everyone who has different dynamics, I believe that all children are safe here. In my heart, I do. I believe that all women are safe here. And I believe that all brothers are protected and nurtured here. And that's what I see. And I believe that with the instructions the Most High has given us, we can follow them to the best of our ability in this modern time. And if there's children who don't have parents, even if they're adopted, or children who don't have parents, those children to be looked after. There's women who don't have husbands, but their husbands are necessarily deceased. They still have to be looked after because they don't have a husband, so they have to be cared for and protected. And I'm just grateful for the Most High's protection and consideration of all of us. So
May the Most High be praised. You know, the commandment that you gave, the befitting commandment, thou shalt not abuse the widow or the fatherless. Very good commandment. And it covers a whole spectrum of things. Abuse can come in many ways, in many forms. Like we have some people today in this social system that we find ourselves wrapped up in today, where they take and snip off the young man's private part and make him believe that he's a female. That's abuse. They raise him up to be the opposite sex. These abusive things that we have today in our society has become accepted. You know, at one point, homosexuality was classified in the books, in the medical books, as a disorder, a mental disorder. And now they're telling us if we don't accept homosexuality, we got the mental disorder. That's what they're telling us today. Because they want us to accept this new system that they have of doing things. They want us to be cool with these things and act as if these things are okay and acceptable, so that the future generations to come will grow up unstable. That within itself is an institutional abuse to the child. So you touched on a very important part of the command where you said that in your beliefs, and I happen to agree with you, that these individuals, children, the fatherless, the motherless, the widows, the husbandless, will be protected here. And I agree with you. Part of the situation that we have in our everyday life outside of Beulah land, because we don't have this issue here, is that women put themselves in vulnerable situations, very bad situations. I have a whole bunch of daughters, and I have to tell them by a certain time to be in the house. And if they're not in by that certain time, and I see, because we got cameras around our house, around the perimeter, then they get a call from me, find out why. And it isn't because I don't trust my children. I don't trust the world. The world is wicked. And they will do some things to you with your intentions being pure. This young lady, just watched this documentary the other day. This young lady was out at Walmart. She was shopping. She walks out of the Walmart to go get into her car. Never made it to her car. They found her body like 3 days later. They had on videotape with this young man, this guy, pushed her into a truck and took her somewhere, did what he wanted to do, killed her. This was about 11:30. The average young lady today, the average female today, think it's okay. It ain't gonna happen to me. I got this. Let me tell you something. What you don't remember or what you don't know is that, or what you're not even thinking about, is that a man is like 5 times stronger than you being a female. And he can overpower you by himself no matter what your intentions are. So you have to always be thinking like this to be as safe as possible at all times. Because if they sneak up on you and get you and you don't see them coming, it's even worse. You're gone. You just might count yourself as lost. If they decide to hurt you, you're hurt for sure. See, the Creator has his protection around us and over us and all in us, but he don't want us to be stupid. He wants us to think and try to use preventive measures from putting ourselves in these situations that could cause us to be hurt or harmed. So as a child, we're not supposed to cause any harm to the children, but the children themselves have to be mindful of not putting themselves in positions, in places where they know they may be harmed. We have to teach them this. You know, you don't do certain things with other little kids because this is how other little children, because other little children's parents ain't teaching them this, so we got to teach ours. That's right. I've heard of stories, and this is a real story, one that I've lived through, not that I experienced it myself physically, but I was in a place where this happened. We was in a place of worship, took a break, and two little boys wandered off. And now we got a whole story to tell about two little boys. Come to find out, one of the little boys was molested by a male in his mother's house. Well, he brought that same attitude, that same conduct to the house of worship. Nobody was expecting anything like that. Nobody was thinking anything like that. These things are real. You got to watch them because it'll pop up at the least expected time. Therefore, if we put it and instill it in our young boys and our young girls, there's certain things people just don't do to you. You don't allow it to happen. Then we've helped them to build up that defense. Because if you don't take the time to talk to them, somebody else will. And they're going to talk to them in a little different way than what you would do. And they'll take advantage of your child, and your child has been abused. And that's against the laws of the Creator. So who's at fault? Is it the child or is it you for not taking the time to talk to your child? Now I would agree, this all depends on the age of the child. But at a certain point in the child's life, you have to pull your child aside and expose him to the evils of this world. Because if not, this world will have their way with your innocent children. Sometimes it's hard to imagine the wickedness that be in the people's mind. It's hard to really imagine how somebody could just take that young lady, knock her upside her head, put her in the trunk of their car, or put her in a van, take her somewhere, abuse her, chop her up, cut her up, and throw her away. This is a reality. More horrible things than that happens today. But we live in a sheltered reality because of the Creator's protection. We live in a sheltered reality, which means that we're not even accustomed to that type of evil, that level of wickedness. We don't even really imagine that unless we go outside of our circle and look at television, the radios, or talk to someone else who's living that life in that world. Other than that, in this little sheltered environment we're in, we don't get to experience none of that because everybody's here is doing the very best to be their very best, to present their very best version of themselves. We don't see that, but it is reality outside of our circle. So let's not be, ignorant to it. We have our own school. Our children go to their own school. When we develop into a level of power, because we ain't a level of force and power yet, but when we get there, we'll be 1,000 strong here on the land. We will be 1,000 strong. Then we have to we got more of a security force to protect off against the outside enemies. But anyway, until that time comes, sit down with your young ones and talk to them. And as far as the widows, you're absolutely correct. They're our responsibility. The men, they ain't got to be your wife for you to provide for her and take care of her and look after her and take care of her children. You ain't got to be getting no smooches. None of that got to be happening for you to do your job as a man. But the way of the world, the outside world's mind state, if somebody's providing those resources to you, I have a sister one time, and she ain't my biological sister. She's my sister in the law, in this Israelite walk. She's about, I would say about 10 years older than me, maybe. She had gotten a car accident, car got crashed up, so I brought her a new car. She didn't want to accept it. She eventually did, but it took me so much to get her to say, here, this is for you. It took a lot for her to do that because although we're in this law and we real cool, me and the sister, real cool. But because how society has raised our people, that anybody trying to do something like that for you is trying to get something from you, and it's hard for us to accept a gift or help or a handout from someone who may be in a position, and they might not be in a position, they might be sacrificing what they have just to make sure you got. But it's hard for us to be able to receive something at somebody else's hand. Very, very difficult. So you hit a nerve today. And now you got me up here running my chops. So may the Most High be praised, because we have to really, these like what you're saying, we have to really implement that on different levels. It don't just mean you don't abuse them. You can abuse them by not raising them right. And we have to understand that. So may the Most High be praised, and thank you for that commandment.
All right. Torah. All right, so we have a couple of comments in scripture within the audience. But we also have a question before that, actually. And this is by Chaza. How would you define fatherless?
Fatherless is exactly that. He ain't got no dad. He could be a deadbeat. He ain't got no dad if he ain't around. If the child doesn't have a father in his life actively raising him, he don't have a dad. He got a sperm donor, but he ain't got a dad. Having a father means you have somebody teaching you as well as providing for you in your life. So if they don't have that, they are fatherless, male or female. They're fatherless. I grew up a long time in my life fatherless. For long, my father was alive, drove live in Texas, but I grew up fatherless. It's not a good thing to say. It's a hurtful thing, but it's the truth.
All right. Where Autumn says, Bemidbar, Numbers 26:8. You shall speak to the children of Israel, saying, if a man dies and has no son, then you shall cause his inheritance to pass to his daughter. Hold on. It says, explanation. This command shows that the Most High not only allows us to reason with him, at first it was just the sons, but also shows how the Most High loves and considers his daughters. He is just and balanced. As the only daughter of my father, this command is directly related to me, and I am grateful that the Most High allows me to carry on my father's legacy, even though I am a female, not a male. Zehu.
May the Most High be praised.
She also says,
Okay.
only child of my father. This command is direct. Oh, I guess it repeated itself.
All right. Keep up the good work, carrying on your father's legacy, young lady.
All right.
There's a reality to all this that I want to jump on. And I have to mention this because she brought it up. A female cannot carry on her father's legacy. She can't. A female doesn't even carry her father's name, her father's lineage. Only the male child of the father can do such. It's just reality. It just doesn't happen that way. Now, in that story that we read was in Numbers 27, where the daughters of Zelophehad. If you read that story correctly, And if I had done a better job, I guess, explaining it, it would be understood differently. But they were to inherit physical things, not the spiritual essence. That's different. They were to inherit physical things, which was whatever he left behind, land possessions. But when they inherited that, it locked them up from being able to marry any man that they wanted to marry. They could only marry the man that was from the same tribe as their father. Other than that, they couldn't marry anyone. Yes, they did inherit this thing, but in order for them to produce seed, to take seed after them, they had to marry. Because our people didn't do that street stuff like people do today. Just having sex with anybody and claim somebody else as the baby daddy when that dude is the baby daddy and all that stuff. We didn't do that. We got married. Then we had children. So if she was to had not gotten married yet, but she inherited her father's land, then that land she could never be married and hand down to her children, unless if she married in her father's family, meaning somebody directly related from her father's blood. That's the only way. So may the Most High be praised, but he did give them a way out. But the legacy, maybe she means it in a different instance by legacy, the memories, maybe that's what she's speaking about. But the things that a man accomplishes in life brings about his legacy. To carry on your father's legacy means you're continuing on in the works that your father started when he was alive and flesh and running and doing his job. That's what that means, to carry on his legacy. So I pray that you understand a little bit more that your father's legacy is really nothing that, as a woman, unless your father established something that you could carry, like a school. If your father opened a school, he started a school, and he's now deceased, or he's sick, he's elderly, he's sick, he can no longer do it. And you took that on, and you built it, and you helped it to grow, then you've carried on your father's legacy in that manner. But to inherit from your father, the school could be inherited. But to carry on your father's name, like our forefathers did in the ancient days, the female didn't do that. The male did it. Although Jewish teachings, your mother has to be Jewish in order for you to be Jewish. But we're not Jewish, we Hebrew Israelites, and we're not Jewish. And according to the Bible, your father had to be a Hebrew in order for the youth to be a Hebrew. Just that simple. Your mother could have been from any nation, but your father had to be a Hebrew Israelite in order for you to be a Hebrew Israelite. And if you just want to be a Hebrew, your father had to be Hebrew for you to be Hebrew. Had no difference what your mother's nationality was. So may the Most High be praised. Let's move on. Yes.
Is it also, would you say it's also too, because the woman normally marries out of the family as well?
And that's exactly right. But what happens when a woman gets married?
She takes on the name of
her whole name change.
Yeah.
So in reality, if you understand, she loses her identity. Who she was, she no longer is that anymore. She becomes someone else, not just by name, but by right. She becomes another man's property. And a lot of y'all be feeling uncomfortable when somebody tell you somebody's property, but you shouldn't be. As long as you marry somebody respectful, you could. If you marry somebody abusive, then yeah, I wouldn't want to be called nobody's property either. He's an abuser, and that's what he's going to do. But if you marry an honorable man, a man with integrity, then you should never have a problem with somebody say you belong to that man. What can I say? I know a lot of women right now would die to belong to a man.
And then the crazy thing about it is you could show that to people and they don't realize that you're property of the state.
Yeah, you are.
You're a child of the state.
And the bad thing about that is 9 times out of 10, matter of fact, 9.9.9 times out of 10, your mother's the one who signed you over to the state. when you were born with your birth certificate. She signed your birth certificate, and that made you property of the state.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much science to this, man. It's just so deep. And you know, we like getting into information. We like exchanging and sharing information. Because a lot of our people are walking around, they're zombies. They don't know nothing. They're just zombies. And then when you share something with them, usually if they don't just say, oh, I didn't know that, they'll fight it. If it goes against what they've been taught, they'll fight it until the man shows them that you were right. And then, oh, okay, all right, I see it. But if it's just you and you trying to educate them, try to bring one of these people out of the church. Try to speak to your own people and bring them out of the church or the mass yield or the Buddhist temple and watch what you get. But it's okay. We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
All right. She says, Gabriel Autumn says, what I mean by legacy, physical possessions and mental. Example, my father has in his will, the apartment building is going to me when he transitions. Also, I am the only one who can testify to his personality and accomplishments in life.
Yeah. Let's carry on your father's legacy with that apartment building. Yeah. Let's carry on your father's legacy. That's good. And that is an example of what I'm talking about by you being able to carry on his legacy. Something that he started, you're moving in that same direction. And that's really important, you know? And that's a very good example. I'm glad you explained yourself. May the Most High be praised. Torah.
All right. Is there anyone else present that wants to present a scripture that's on Facebook or YouTube, or even anyone here? Also, remember, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. If you haven't, share as well and like. You got one? All right. Turn this a little bit towards you. I hear you.
Jeremiah 6 and 16.
Turning ye in the path
Hmm.
of the old, but in them is peace.
Yes, that's one of my favorites. Thus says Yahuwah, stand in the way, look intently, and make inquiry for the ancient paths, where the toll way is, and walk in it. Then you will find rest for your souls.
Yes.
And the last part is there's a part that just shows the current state of affairs, but they said we will not walk in it. Just kind of the same tone of what we were talking about earlier. There's so many, you can show them the way. You can say, but this is where it says it. And they're like, yeah, but let me go see. See, it's right there. You literally read it yourself, and they'll still rebel against it. I mean, it's like, it's like I said, people, you tell somebody something, say, well, where you going? I'm going with my friends. Well, if your friends jump off a cliff, you going with them too? They'll kind of probably say, no, you go stay down somewhere. It just shows sadly, the state of affairs. But here it is. You have, like we was talking in the lesson earlier, where the blessing of the temple was done. He said, now, these are the conditions. Let's meet this. And, oh, yes, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And say, stand in the ways. And then after all of their rebellion, God stands up and he says, thus says Yahuwah, stand in the ways. Look intently. Don't just scan over it and just keep on going. Look intently. Make inquiry for the ancient past. That means inquire. Ask about it. Because you don't know everything. So, okay, what is this? That's why even certain things, I have, like I said, I was seeing, I said, this one, but I got to go back and call myself. But I say, okay, I need to know, how does this work? What do we do culturally? How do our people handle this? In the Christian arena, the usual question is, well, what would Jesus do? I mean, and if you want to ask what Yahushua would do, he would follow Torah. So that's what he would do, because that's what he did. So, but again, when I look at that, even with the ending part where people say, we will not do it. But again, here you have a loving God that is just reaching out and saying, look intently into my ways. I set before you this day life and death. Choose life. It's like somebody saying, I'm going to give you a test and I'm going to give you the answer. And you still say, yeah, I'm going to choose A, B, or C. So, okay, A is the answer, but you want to choose C. And it's not even on the test. But again,
May the Most High be praised. Better revive.
Okay. All right. We have Zakena Cecilia, and I think we also have Princess. You said you have Nefertiti and Shakira as well. I think you popped up right before Zakena Cecilia. So if you want to go first, go ahead, and I'll bring Zakena Cecilia because you
should
do it the other way.
Mhm.
All right. Now let's do Zakena Cecilia first then. And it says Deuteronomy 10:20. You should respect the Most High Creator when all your ways and seek to be one with Him. You should swear that the resulting blessings came about only because of Him. All right.
You should respect the Most High Creator with all your ways and seek to be one with Him. You should swear that the resulting blessings came about only because of Him. All right, maybe that's an explanation.
Okay. Let's go to well, I want to use my scripture. Deuteronomy, Devarim 10:20. And it says in the version that I have present, 10:20. It says, fear the Most High your Elohim, serve Him and cling to Him and swear by His name.
Mhm.
All right. Toda for that. So I came to Celia, Toda. All right, Princess, it's your floor. You got the floor if you're available. All right. She'll be coming back, I'm sure. Anyone else have a scripture that they want to present? Mora, okay. Is it yeah? You have a scripture you want to present? Okay. All right. Sure. Go ahead. Not still. Okay. You took my scripture. I take from others. Good job. How about that?
May the Most High be praised.
Good scripture. All right.
I seen
Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
You
You got to speak clearly. Come sit up a little. She chose. Can y'all hear me?
Okay, we hear you. We hear you. She said, honor your mother, father.
Right. And then what else it says? It says that thy days may be long upon the land which the Most High Father giveth thee. What does that mean to you?
I don't really know.
Well, it means to listen to my mother and father.
To listen to my mother and father?
Yeah, that's what it means. Okay.
Got it.
All right. Which one you want to do? Come over here. You got your law? Which one? Thou shalt not steal, or thou shalt not bear false witness.
I should not.
Oh.
Okay, you can say it up here.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
What does that mean to you? A woman can't sleep with another man while she's married.
I need this for you too.
Thank you. All right. So that was Shakira and FTV. They did their law. 1 second. And then I'm going to do my law. My law is found in Leviticus 19, Vayikra 19, verse 26. Let me get to it. Okay, it says, "Ye shall not eat anything with the blood, neither shall you use enchantment nor observe times." So the first part stuck out to me because Nasika Mona and I were actually shopping for things to add to the garden, to enrich the garden. And we came upon this product called blood meal, right? I was told, like, oh, this is really good to add to your garden, you know. And so as we picked it up, and she was like, well, what's in it? So I'm reading it. It doesn't tell you what's in it. And so when we Googled it, it said blood meal is basically blood from different animals. And people actually this in their garden to help their garden, help their vegetables and fruit to grow. And it just made me, we both put the bag down immediately, like, oh no, you know, and now it gave us the insight to even inquire to other people, like, what are you using in your garden? Because blood meal is blood. And of course, the Most High tells us not to eat the blood. And basically, we're now adding blood to our fruits and vegetables, or some people are. So that also, it taught us a lesson too, that you just can't, you know, take advice from everybody. You got to kind of really research what you're doing and what people are telling you, because they may not even know. So at some point, I'm going to, you know, reach out to the sister that told me to make sure she knows. But if she's using it, then I know that we can't eat from their garden either. Because even though people may think it's a little far-fetched, but whatever you plant your seeds in, that, you know, that's a part of that plant, and, you know, that vegetable or that fruit. The other part of my law says, neither shall you use enchantment. That goes into witchcraft and like spells and things like that. And then it says, nor observe times. For me, that means like observe the times of the land, which is more I mean, for me, it goes deep for me, like beyond just like their holidays, but even their times that they allot. It's kind of weird because we live here in this country, so it's like we got to go back when they do spring forward and fall back. Even though that's something that we have learned that they, you know, they make up and they do things, because right now they're talking about making, I think, bringing forward a permanent thing. So that means that they are altering time. And so, you know, I look at it beyond, like I said, just celebrating their holidays, but there are times that they have set aside and saying, oh, this time is for this. This time is this time. So we just have to really do a lot of our own research, a lot of our due diligence in what we follow, who we follow, and why we do it, to make sure that we are not profaning the Most High by, you know, just doing what other people do, or following or taking instructions from any and everywhere. So Zehu, Torah Rabah.
All right. May the Most High be praised. Very good command. Thank you very much.
All right. Toda Rabbah.
Yeah, I want the observer of times, the observance of time. What does that command say? Because they seek to change the time?
No, it just says it just says, neither shall you use enchantment nor observe times.
Okay. Observe times. I agree with what you stated,
Mm-hmm.
but with the enchantment and observing times, it's almost like reading the crystal ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like predicting the time that's going to happen, forecasting, and they being false prophets, necromancing, worshiping of the dead to get signs for the future and all that type of stuff is what observance of the time is in that particular instance. And it's not that I'm disagreeing with what you said, because what you said is on point as well. Yeah, they do. And what you stated is even reinforced with Daniel's the 7th chapter, where it talks about they seek to change times, seasons, days, and laws. And you're absolutely right. That's what they do. That's their job. But the first portion of your commandment was what?
Ye shall not eat anything with the blood.
Hmm. And we all know that we have a lot of meat eaters. A lot of our people like eating meat. And the law says that you're not supposed to eat meat with the blood in it. So what they do is they just wash it off and fry the meat. Don't mean that they're getting the blood out of it. You gotta soak it, salt water, soak it a period of time to get all the blood so that the water draws all the blood out of it. And then you fry it and cook it and eat it. If you want to eat meat. Well, we would suggest you don't eat meat at all. We just tell everybody don't eat no meat because it ain't no good for you. Definitely don't eat no chicken because chicken is unclean. Y'all know that. Yes?
Like, if there was the blood in it, like what my mom, my family does, we put it in this bowl and we use it for, we pull more, we put the salt on top of the lamb, and then when we take it out, we put more salt, and we like wait a little while, and then we put some seasoning on it, and then we fry it.
Well, this lamb you're about to eat, you won't have no seasoning on it. It's gonna be eaten in haste. You're gonna put, we probably will clean it though. We gotta soak the blood out, but we cook it and then we roast it, but we gotta do all this in haste. It's like a rush, it's like a rush. It's how it's supposed to be. So on Monday, Creator willing, you're gonna see us kill the animal, hang it upside down, skin the animal, take all of its skin off, and then chop it up, and then soak it in salt water, and then we're gonna roast it and cook it so we can eat it. Yummy. Yeah, I just thought about saying yummy to some lamb. But it's gonna be good. Yes.
Yeah, so I do, when we do, at home, we have kept, we eat the lamb and kosher it, as they said, soak it in the salt water. And then I take it out and use the kosher salt, big coarse salt, and cover it. And then you can actually see for
When did you do that?
It,
Last year?
well, we've been keeping the feast.
No. When did you do that? What you just mentioned with the lamb?
I mean, every year that we've kept Pesach.
Where'd you get it from? Who taught you that? That's good information. The average person doesn't do that.
Oh.
Where'd you acquire that information?
I mean, I looked it up how to kosher lamb. And so I guess, you could say it was an Ashkenazim source, but I've been using that practice
That's good.
when we keep the feast.
So they good for something.
And you can really see, like when you soak it in the water first,
Yeah,
you see the blood come out.
yeah.
And then you, like you said, most people might think, oh, it's done. But when you put the salt on it and let it sit, you see more blood draw. You can really see the color change when it's out. So you really have to be diligent. But another thing I wanted to say about Princess Medaiah's verse, like we were talking about this morning, our Creator is so precise with the word.
Hold on a second. Can y'all hear her in the audience? Oh, they you loud and clear.
Oh.
Do your thing.
The context of the verse is so important that he puts all of it together because, I have a lot of knowledge about the occult, and even I'm a doula by trade, so nowadays it's so tricky even to get trained as a doula or get certifications in womb health and womb healing. You got to be careful. A lot of these classes are pretty much teaching witchcraft. They just disguising it. So a lot of these women now, they are witches in disguise, and they're telling you about the womb health and healing the womb, the blood of the womb is so good. And they actually tell you, save your menstrual blood and put it in your garden. Like she was saying, the blood meal. A lot of women now are using their menstrual blood, put it in their garden. talking about it nourishes the soil. And the reason why it's important that the verse starts out with "you shall not eat the blood," because the life is in the blood. And then it goes into enchantments. It's so interesting that it's directly in that order, because I know that especially in elite society, there's a step-by-step process. You start out, I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about, but even in the movies, it's like once somebody becomes rich, it's like you eat your steak rare. And it's like you're not an aristocrat, or you're not an elite person if you don't eat your steak rare. And it makes you think like that's culture for rich people to eat more rare and then raw meat. And then when you find out a lot of people give their testimonies when they're in politics or they're in entertainment, they go to these parties and then it come to find out they're being served human meat a lot of times. A lot of times they don't talk about that publicly, but a lot of times you're goaded into eating human meat. And then it's just this intricate process into the occult. And we know that they are ritually sacrificing and literally making you eat not only raw animal meats, but eventually human meat. And this is part of their ritual for fame and money and power. And it's directly entwined with enchantments and divinations and these literal blood cults. And again, a lot of these witches in disguise, worshiping the menstrual blood, using the menstrual blood, putting it on their faces and divinations for menstrual blood. It gets real. It gets real. So even seeing how that verse is organized, all of these are together in the same verse that you know witchcraft and enchantment. And the eating of blood is
That's right. That's why we was told not to do it. I see your hand. Hold on 1 second, right? Then you got the female who want to keep a man, so she do something that she heard, not even understanding what she's doing. Yeah.
I want to add to what my mom said.
You gonna add on to what your mom said? Okay.
Even sometimes if you're watching like something and they're doing all of that my mom said, it can still the spirit can actually come out and it can go into whatever you want.
How old are you?
8, I'm at 9.
So go ahead and finish.
And and it like sometimes if you're watching a good movie like Jesus, you feel like a spirit, and the spirit comes out and you can feel it.
Mm. So what you do about it? When you're watching that movie and that spirit come out, what do you do about it?
If it's a bad spirit, you're supposed to not watch it, or if you accidentally press it, you turn it off right away and just pray over the house and pray over yourself.
And you 9?
Yeah.
I can just imagine how you're gonna be when you get 19. See, that needs to be enhanced. That's the type of spirit that you grab and you capitalize off of it and you enrich them with more and more and more knowledge. The average 9 ain't on that level. That's good, man. I'm proud of you. Keep up the good work. Your mom taught you all that?
Yeah.
Good. Good. Now you talked about, I'm talking to a child now. He ain't no child. He's been here before. You talk about when you get it on, you hear, I see your hand, Dawid. I'm gonna get you. You got some strong arms because your arm been up for like 5 minutes. You talk about the spirit get out and then the spirit get into the house.
Yeah.
These things really happen. Most people don't understand the spirit. They don't even try to, oh, and they gone when you mention what you just mentioned. They will shut an ear to you so that they don't hear it, they don't learn it. Another thing I want you to remember, always remember, which you might know. I don't know if you know. I'm gonna talk to you as if you don't know. When you're watching these movies and listening to these radios, when these people start chanting in these other languages, calling on these deities, cut it off. Do not allow the chant to complete the cycle.
My mom told me that.
Good.
Sometimes you might not be thinking because you might not know what they're saying, but sometimes they're talking witchcraft.
That's right.
Sometimes they're trying to add those demons to you.
More than likely, that's what they're doing. That's why the world is so tricked up like it is now, because the government, I'm going to drop you on something, the government uses witchcraft to stay in control. If you can understand that, you're good. If you can't understand it, we're going to teach you about it.
The government.
I can tell you your mama's son.
Social media and stuff to spread these things around, and that's why it's good to stay away from like stuff like that because the president is actually evil. And he's doing all this stuff. If the president was not here, no one would do this. But the president created witchcraft. Like,
No, he did not.
but
The president ain't old enough to create witchcraft.
yeah,
In practice.
he never created it, but he does it. And
Okay.
So, like, I forgot what it's called. Yeah,
Okay, we got you. We understand.
yeah.
We understand. You did a good job, man. I want you to know you did a good job. You did great, good praise. How are you doing? Dawid, you wanted to say something, Dawid? Give us a commandment or what? All right.
Do not mix animals together.
There you go. Very good.
You shouldn't do that because mixing animals together will probably make them not reproduce anymore, and that's not cool.
All right. Very good. Make more time. And he's 9 too, ain't he? 10? How old is he? 7. Okay, I'll accept that 7. Okay, yes. You can come up to the podium.
One of the command, almost the command that I was thinking about actually came to mind when they were speaking about the different the blood. It came from Deuteronomy and the Ten Commandments. Do not bow down yourself unto any sort of idols or engraved images, nor serve them, for Yahuwah is a jealous power. The reason why I chose this and the reason why this is important is because when it comes to even how they were talking about the media, it even goes down to the times, the days, and even when it comes to different things, you have to be careful with any sort of media that you take in. Because even like how my health teacher even was talking about, it depends on the music. I'm going to say even when it comes down to the frequencies of music and even to music images that you see, because it's a known fact in some that the color red even. Yeah, the color red actually speeds up your heartbeat. It not only does it speed up your heartbeat, but depending on the frequency, it can cause people to go mad, which is why certain frequencies, like lower negative frequencies and the color red mixed together, if anybody is ever familiar with the movie 28 Days Later, if you notice, even when they were talking about the people that were infected, they were saying it's in the blood, because even the blood basically carries, it's basically blood is life, and basically the blood, basically if you lose a part of that life, that part of life is basically contaminating whatever it is that it falls on, which is why even kind of like how whenever a dog goes feral, they want more blood depending on what type of person it is, that blood, that specific type of blood is going to be what they're after. And even when it comes down to kind of like idolatry and certain things on how media does it. That's why sometimes even the names of different pharmaceutical, basically pharmaceutical assets and even pharmaceutical names, you know, how basically homes, like basically the people that make the different pharmaceuticals, like supplies and stuff like that, all the way down to the names of different banks is all geared to stuff. Even the cars, and even kind of like when it comes to the different stuff of media, kind of like how there's even spirits attached to things, like how there's even stuff attached to kind of like old radios, because even when you think about radios and stuff like older stuff where it's like there's always these paranormal stories about usually either people talking about they hear a voice in the radio. That's not just the radio. There's a literal radio geared to hearing the voices of ghosts and the spirit. And actually, this came from, and when you think about radio, the one thing is that you can speak into a spirit box and something respond. Basically, when people literally gear things to stuff like that, even when it comes up to how they have the names of the cemeteries and even the names of locations named off of different deities, like how you have it was one time there was a cemetery on the street near where we live. Kind of like it was I can remember it so clearly. It was the Artemis something. It was something else in it, but it was something Artemis. And I remember seeing that because they like even down to the symbolism of names and even the numbers. Even numbers also sometimes play a significant role when it comes to this media and even the stars on the when it comes to different stuff about the media and this modern society, and even when it comes to different popular people of this society. Even when you think about kind of like how the stars are, how you see this happen near this star, or how there's always, whenever somebody becomes popular, like how it was said, they either have, it's like, one thing is that they'll eat rare steak, or another thing is that they have to literally sign a blood contract. And interestingly enough, there's actually the index finger is that the blood on the index finger is basically it's still more time, still blood, but the blood moves kind of like slower in the index finger because it's kind of like it's an area that not too much pressure, but pressure is put on there. So blood is basically the blood movement fluctuates, which is why whenever the index finger is cut, usually blood is perfect for that type of stuff. Because they say even when it comes down to like different terms, they say the blood from the finger is basically like the purest blood, which is what people basically in modern society have basically put gear to stuff like that when it comes to this, when it comes to even the popular people doing things basically in their music, how you notice even when it comes to the modern music, even the tempo of it, because you notice how when it comes to trap, there's always this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. When it comes to the hi-hat, it's like the hi-hat, this trap music, every trap song sounds the same. The exact same. It's always about the same thing, and then they basically play that music to keep you in that same mindset. Because indoctrination, basically, and hypnotism.
Yes.
Because hypnotism is basically another way how you can get it through images. Images are always processed, it's like you always process images, and basically images go to the most important area of your body, your brain. And when that brain is contaminated, even when it comes down to, because this is also something that my mom said too, even when you think about commercials, they give you this advertisement for try this new Pepsi or this new cola. That next day you don't want a cola. Or even when it comes down to the music, I feel like we should be making more money. We should or it's like how when it comes to this different type of this new generation of trap music, how it is even kind of like how there's always this message out there of have as many wives or have as much money as you can because they make it like, oh, life is too short. Like they do this thing of do as much crazy stuff as you can before you basically transition. And that's for some reason how it is even when it comes to the modern trap music. So, like this trap music, like even how it is down to the things that you watch. even when it comes to like different things that they say are child friendly.
Right.
How it's always, you know,
Um,
how it's always whenever people say this is child friendly, and you always have to basically do a back.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you know that young lady in the back? Yeah, y'all would probably enjoy talking with each other. Y'all keep going. I could never imagine. Ever since I know him, he just been so quiet and just, you know, I never imagined you had all that in you.
Because it's like a lot of that I wish to explain because I think because I mean I wish the best for everyone. I wish safety for everyone when it comes to these messages that I basically wish to carry out. Because even when it comes to educational stuff like that, and like children's music and children's things, you even have to be careful with that. Um, like that cartoon known as name it. Cocomelon, even when it comes to the different frequency of the songs that kind of like that the songs are made in, it's made slow and dreary, like basically dreary to me, because that's not like music and they're always the same low, eerie tempo. And even certain messages are blurred in there, kind of like if you reverse some songs, which is also something that is different, which is also something that I find quite not interesting as in, oh, I want to invest in this, but no, as in, like, basically understanding the messages and why they're doing it, and basically kind of like how to avoid it, kind of like basically because there's always a certain frequency, even down to vibrations and even down to basically a frequency of words that you say, because a frequency of words that you say can actually mean something else back. If you reverse say, kind of like how it is if somebody said, I want to go to the park, but it reverses and it's basically kind of like saying something else as in a code of numbers or basically something like that. Even down to numbers, how many of like people are basically geared to have a set time of music. You notice how every trap song stops at 3 minutes and 5 seconds. You notice how many different songs are like 3 minutes or 2 minutes.
yeah.
Because many people say that basically kind of like either 333 or 444 is an angel's number. As we know, that is just a number, just like a number 66. It's basically been inflated too much to be a sort of myth, and they've mythicized that these numbers can summon this great creature. No, it's just a frequency of numbers and basically made to psychologically play on many people's minds. And it's scares me the fact that this society has been using these tactics basically ever since basically way before I was born, even beyond that. Kind of like how it's even gone down to past the 1900s, past the 1700s. They've been using many frequencies, basically even to the times of basically where back then, even how there's different myths and even how there's music, even how music is basically involved into everything that we do. Even when it was Joshua and they were taking down the wall, how they basically were using music and vibrations to basically disturb the rocks and basically make them fragile enough to fall. Which is true, which is actually true that certain vibrations can even cause certain things to float, even basically make it move, show it in different directions. It's geared to different like frequencies. And basically, it's important that we identify what type of music we listen to and how we listen to it. And basically, when we listen to it. Even time plays a good role in different things that you do. Basically, how they're effective, if you drink water at 3, you can get better. Like kidney, like basically how it also depends on the music. You listen to this music at a certain time, this music will make you feel happy. Or listen to it at a certain time, and maybe this music will make you feel a different way at a different time because that time is before. music, like every song has its own atmosphere and has its own message. And when it comes to the music now, it's basically hard to find good music now because it's all about, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and we like get rich and we get filthy rich. But actually, when you think about it, this person probably wasn't the type of person that they are now than what they were before. This person probably before probably wasn't even interested in making music, but just by listening to music like that, they've been influenced. It's always about influencing the different colors, and even when it comes to different flags of the different nations. Even when it comes to different colors and themes, and even when it comes to like other basically themes of like nationality. Even when it comes to different myths on how people have made things, basically people have mythicized over many different themes of knowledge, basically, and basically have overrated too many things to where they make it seem like it's like basically they make it seem like it's something that's not. Like how
That's called deception.
yes, basically, thank you. Basically, how we've been deceived that these numbers, not basically encouraging that you just use these numbers out of random, but
Did
basically.
y'all see his voice change?
Because because it's like when it comes to different numbers, even how even when it comes to military, how it's different sleeper codes and the different numbers. Even when you go back and think about like dates of this person or this thing has happened, and even when it comes to different news clips, this actually is something that I because when it comes to stuff like this, the reason why my explanation is long, I'm sorry, because it's like when it comes to things like this, I get excited and I really want to explain about this because I'm just concerned about safety. Because when it comes to a lot of things about like many different themes of music, it even has to go down to the music that you listen to before you sleep. Because even because I can actually say that Jaden has actually yes, kudos to you. He's actually helped me when it comes to basically the music that I listen to before going to sleep. Because there was a song that I used to listen to called Snowfall. And before I would go to sleep, I would wake up the next day feeling stressed. And that was actually when he was telling me to switch up the music that you listen to, always have bright music that you would listen to. And the next day, literally waking up, feeling better. And so that's basically a song that's like practical elimination when it comes to music that you listen to, depending on the time that you listen to it in the first, like the first time that you listen to it. Because a song has many different effects on it that you like depending on the time that you listen to it, even when it comes to like, I listened to this song when this happened. Now you're going to be thinking about that event whenever you listen to that song, good or bad. And basically, it just depends on the mental frequencies that people live off and that people have when it comes to music that they have to process, or even the thing that they have to process. And when it comes to that, I just wish for the safety of everyone when it comes to music that they listen to, even the things that they watch. Okay, we'll go up now.
May the Most High be praised, but, see what you started there? And who's first? I don't know which one of y'all was first.
Like, if you listen to music that's bad for you at 3 a.m., you might wake up acting, like, acting up, like, doing bad stuff and being crazy. I know this because 3 in the morning is the time when all of the,
How would you know when you sleep 3 in the morning?
well, my mom taught me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, because 3 in the morning, but that's not how.
3 in the morning? Well, what's that walking the street right now? Yeah. So go ahead, go ahead.
But, I was talking about something else that I wanted to say too. Music can do, mean a lot of things. That's why sometimes when people are sad, they listen to, some music to cheer them up, but notice how it's music. It has like it feels sad. Some people listen to a sad music because that's what you feel like. And some people listen to a happy music because they want to be happy. And that's where I'm gonna stop.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Yes?
I'm just so proud of Jalen and everything he brought out. I was just
Astounded, right?
fun.
I never knew he had all of it.
You know, a lot of these things I resonate with, and I obviously tell my children there was a lot of truth in what he said. But what was so potent to bring it back to the fact that when he stood up, the law that he wanted to speak about was not bowing down to other idols. So everything that he was talking about, these things we make idols of. We make idols of the music we listen to. It implicates certain spirits in us that become idols in our lives and take over our lives. And the intricacies between even entertainment, I call it entrainment. It's never just entertainment. It's always an indoctrination. And the intricate connections between entertainment and politics. A lot of people don't know. You know, there's a very close relationship between the politics of this country and the entertainment. They're paid to promote certain agendas. And even the producers of music and film, these are master magicians. That's what we don't understand. They are master occultists, high scientists. And Walt Disney himself, speaking of children's movies, as he brought up, the children's movies are often the most demonic. Yes. And Disney was a high degree, you know, in high degree secret society, multiple ones. And, you know, I studied film, and I used to want to be a filmmaker, but I'm very passionate about the image, and the image goes into iconography and idolatry. And the power of the image, the brain receives and retains information from images more than words can be. So you can be taught something by your parents, you can be taught something, you know, by your spiritual leaders, but what you see has much more of an impact for better or worse. And so that's why we are so manipulated collectively, everyone, by images. And so even the items of the JC and, you know, this European Caucasian man that we see, you know, what that does to us as people, continuing to see that, continuing, especially in this country, continuing to see images of predominantly European Caucasian people, when in fact they are the minority of the world. More people in the whole globe look like us than like them. But I believe, I have a personal theory, just I think part of the proliferation of white supremacy had to do a lot with the image, their control over the image, especially when film was invented, with the black and white film, and how it glorified them, gave them a certain halo-like effect, literally. The way film represented them as perfect and blemishless, literally the color of their skin. And so around the world, you have all these images, and then you have Africans, Asians, even Middle Easterns bleaching their skin. All of these things, you know, so the image is very powerful. And again, it's no accident that image, even in our scriptures, is closely tied with idolatry and iconography. These are things we worship, whether we are conscious of it or not. I mean, there's so many intricacies, but Jalen has definitely brought so much to the surface today. I'm very proud of him. Yeah, keep it up.
Thank you. And may the Most High be praised. You need to start writing a book. You got so much in you, man. You should start writing. You should start writing. You'd be surprised what you come up with. You got a lot in you. Yes?
Another they
Was you the same young man that was in the class earlier today?
yeah.
You ain't say nothing then. What, you had to get something to eat?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, the reason why they put witchcraft in the children's movies more is because children don't understand things, and so they want to do this more to the children, and they think that oh yeah, it's okay because we can do witchcraft, and the children don't know about it.
Well, I'm gonna teach you a secret, okay? And what you said was true and correct. But part of the reason why they do it to children is so that they can get you while you're young. They want you in your youth because that gives it more time for it to grow within you. So then when you become an adult, they've already manipulated your mind. They already got you. Oh, yeah, you will.
Because, and then when you go up, well, that's why already there's, uh, that's why there's a lot of people right now who's, following them, is because some of them started off young, and when they grew up and grew, they kept this in their mind. It's just like, he was saying, they, like, Coco Melon, a lot of kids watch it over and over again every day. Like, you can go to some people's houses and they'll do this over and over.
Let me tell you something else that's bad. Can I tell you something else that's bad? A little child shouldn't be playing video games, walking around with an iPad, stuck in front of them all day. They shouldn't have, little children shouldn't have access to iPads like that. If you're in school, you do school, but when you're done, put it up, get rid of it. Don't sit around playing games on your iPad because that's another way that they mess with your mind. And a lot of parents allow the iPad to babysit the children. Dangerous. Dangerous. Yep. But I do thank you, man. Solomon, you've been doing a great job. Thank you very much.
And I'm gonna.
You are. May the Most High be praised. These people here, these young guys. Ooh. Shit. My wife said he had to scope out the vibe of the place first. Yeah, he probably did, because he was checking us out. Now he just can't stop. Shoot, and I'm not telling you to stop. If it's in you and you got something you want to, raise your hand and do your part. All right? May the Most High be praised. It's on you, bro.
I don't know where to begin. All right, Torah,
We got
to our.
one more, see.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, we don't law. We still don't law.
Oh, yeah, we still in it. We wasn't closing out.
Sometimes.
So I wanted to bring out Leviticus or right for 16 verse 4. And it reads, he should put on the set apart linen long shirt with linen trousers on his flesh and gird himself with a linen girdle and be dressed with the linen turban. They are set apart garments, and he shall bathe his body in water and shall put them on. And this was really significant because it's funny, I found this before we even started talking about frequencies and things, but the clothing was extremely important because now science has brought out the fact that things like linen and wool carry a very high frequency of about 5,000 units.
Exactly.
Yes, and cotton is a little bit lower. Cotton is very a pure frequency. Yeah.
Cotton is the same frequency.
Pure. Okay. I believe you.
When you get a chance, you might pull it up. Look at the frequency.
Okay.
Yeah. Is
But
it 500 or 5,000?
linen and wool are 5,000.
Okay.
And I think cotton was 500.
I'll look it up right now.
But we
Look at something, please. I need to know this, because if I'm not right, I need to stop teaching it the wrong way.
This is very important because, in the set apart place as the priest were supposed to go in, you need to be able to not only represent the people, but you need to be able to feel the spirit of the Most High. And if some of your clothing is blocking that frequency enough, it's not only going to prevent you from being allowed to represent the people and bring them towards the Most High, but it can also kill you. It can injure your person. And because the Most High cares for us, because he loves us, he's like, listen, I want you to be protected, but you have to follow this instruction. And we noticed, I thought that was really interesting because there were almost layers of it. It's not just like, oh yeah, put on this linen shirt and like you're good to go. You have to put the turban on to protect your mind, whatever frequency. The Most High is awesome power. It's too much for our beings. It's much too much. And so that the linen kind of facilitates his power and his energy to be able to be that intermediary, that intercessor for the people and kind of bridge the gap between the two arenas. And so I thought that was interesting. And then the last part of it, and he shall bathe his body in water and shall put them on. So there were specific instructions not to use soap or any other chemical or any other purification process because of the purity of water. And so, like, if we were to put soap on our bodies before bathing, the chemicals would have an interaction with that frequency of the Most High as well, and killing us. Your heart could stop because we know that we are also electrical beings. Whenever you see doctors on the TV, you know, they do the little thing and they're like clear, and it's an electrical current. That's what our bodies are made of. And so, in order to facilitate that extreme electrical current of the Most High, he sends down fire from the Shamayim and things like that. We know that he is very powerful in these elements. And so these are instructions that help keep us, but also to be able to be intercessors and to, bridge the gap between the flesh and the spirit.
Very good.
He looked it up.
Thank you.
Oh.
All right. So you were wrong.
Oh.
Like I said, let me read it. That's why I'm the prince. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? It says, no, you stay right there. Tell them what you're going to start teaching this right from now on. It says, organic cotton resonates at 100 hertz. Non-organic cotton being much lower. And thus, it has neither positive or negative effect in the body. Linen and pure wool, however, resonates at 5,000 hertz, 50 times stronger. Now, what?
Okay.
You are absolutely right. And today, you have taught me something. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, I thought all three was the same, but you have shown me today. Did anybody else find it? Somebody else back it up? Said the same thing? You are totally we in agreement now. I got you. Thank you. I honestly did not know that cotton was such a small hertz, should I say, magnetic energy. I didn't know that. So thank you for that. So if you start seeing me wearing wool and linen all the time, you know what's up.
Don't mix the wool and the
Oh,
linen.
we know that. Yeah.
Yeah, well.
And don't mix the wool and the cotton either.
Yeah. Which is also, one of the laws that says don't mix the cotton.
That's right. She got me. That's absolutely right. Thank you for that. I really, 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 really appreciate it. I love learning. Yes. I actually thought they were the same, all three. All right. You want to say something?
Yeah.
Come on up. Come up to the podium.
How can you not wear wool when it's the same sequence?
How can you not wear wool when it's the same frequency? Because the Creator says not to do it. It must be a science to it that we don't understand. Sometimes the Creator will give you instructions that we don't understand. And then later in life, we'll come into that knowledge and it starts to make sense. So just do what the Creator says for us to do and we'll be fine.
You know, that's
He has provided an explanation through science. It is because the way that energies and frequencies work, there's like a direction that they take. And so linen goes in one direction, wool goes in the other direction. It's the same level of frequency, but they travel in different directions. So when you put them together, they end up clashing and everything stops. So there's no movement. So that's why it's,
Very good. Thank you. So that sounds like if I get some wool and linen, I can power my light bulb. Because you know that's how electricity works. Yeah, that's right. That's right. They bounce off each other.
right.
I can light a light bulb. Let's go get some cotton. We get free electric. Yes, that's.
More Karen actually touched on the law that I was thinking about bringing forth because I'm always so fascinated with where it says you shall not mix fabrics, but again, we have to pay attention to the order and what is grouped together. So in that same section, he talks about not mixing seed. And what I think is interesting is nowadays when we think about these genetically modified foods and hybrid foods and these new creations that they're making with animals and with foods, and some say that's, like the times of Noah. Some say that they've been doing that even in the times of Noah. And, again, some talk about the methylene breeding with the sons, the daughters of men, and also different animals and all these different species that are coming forth. But a lot of people don't know, even on the military bases, there's a lot of experimentation. There are reports that leak out every now and then with these different creatures that they're creating. And what are they gearing up for? And, some may even say these so-called alien sightings and these strange creatures that they've been breeding in these labs and military bases and hospitals, and it just makes me think that's why the Most High says not to mix seed and not to breed certain animals together. And, the fruits, there's new fruits every day, new vegetables every day that they're hybridizing together. So, like you even just said, a lot of times we don't understand why he says these things. We obey first, and then creator willing, the understanding will come later, the revelation will come later. But when we obey first, we keep ourselves clean. And then, we think about the foods that we're eating, the vegetables, the fruits that are being mixed together, these new species. What is that doing to our DNA that we might not even know until generations later? They don't even have the scientific testing to see until generations later. Oh, this has been for 70 years, literally changing the DNA and the bloodstream of people. And it could also go into miscegenation and the mixing of seed as far as mixing with the other nations. We don't know. I mean, there's a whole plethora of possibilities, but the Most High in His wisdom tells us, and it's in context. You don't mix fabrics, you don't mix seeds. We probably shouldn't mix with certain nations. In fact, we do know He tells us specific nations not to intermingle with. So we don't always know. And we can't know everything that He knows. His ways are not our ways. But again, obedience comes first, revelation comes later.
Oh, yeah.
May the Most High be praised.
Obedience is better than what?
My wife asked a question, how do people feel about mixing plant and plant, cotton and linen? Just for y'all to, she already knows the answer. Gave it to her, but she's asking that question. She says that some people say the scripture is talking about don't mix animals with plant versus don't mix anything at all. No, we're talking about don't mix nothing. Everything should be 100% natural. Absolutely. All right. Are there anyone else you want to give us a law? Anybody else got any laws or commandments that they want to give?
I got a law. Oh. Go ahead.
You want to give us a commandment?
I can add one.
Okay.
The commandment will come from Leviticus chapter 6. And every Shabbat we would go over this. And particularly the part where it talks about teaching the Yeladim, the Torah and the commandments, and just sitting and listening to the babies talk does my heart good and it makes me happy because it's definitely a beautiful thing to see Yeladim of different ages, different, understanding levels, but still all have a heart and a desire to know truth and to walk in it versus being able to see Yeladim in the world their same age, but they know every profanity word, they know every rap lyric, they know everybody that their young minds shouldn't know. And this major kudos to the Horim, to their parents for being able to teach them the morning that they have the examples of both men and women to be able to look at and see, okay, if they're trusting and walking, after the Most High, then, I should be willing and able to do the same thing. And so that would be mine. I love children, and even just, as an example, our nieces and nephews, from our brother Sean, the member of three, they're already being well taught, when it comes to Torah. They know how to say their prayer before they go to bed. They have a prayer that they do for their food. They know what shows and things not to watch, if there's anything, related to it. If it looks like Christmas or Easter. I was like, Amari, what is that abomination? Exactly. So, just being able to see that, it does give hope. And it does give great joy and encouragement to see them, walking in truth and having a love for it. They're not just doing it just because, like, okay, well, I'm being told to do it, so I'm gonna do it just to get by or get a treat, but they know basically the treat. It comes from the Most High, knowing that, he values the little ones, and knowing that, um, he trusts those that he gave them to be able to look after them. I give all esteem and praise, to my queen, bless her memory. And so I've seen them, they're, a power couple, strong people. And so to have that strength, be shared as us, even see it in Jalen, he was young when he came into truth. So to see him be able to have, the growth and the development from what he was taught to, shared, and then have more imparted into him, it also just shows, the beauty of community. And when we were in school, one of my favorite books from the library was It Takes a Village. And it was the story of the older sister, her baby brother, and she told her mom, we're going to the village market, and I'll look after him all by myself. It's just like, okay, we'll see. Her little brother went through all these different scenarios. It's like, okay, he went and got something to eat, he went and bathed, he went and took a nap. In her mind, she's like, well, he's lost and something's wrong. And it's just like, no, he was in good hands. And so just being able to look and see, that the Yelladim are in school hands, and that they are being taught well, and that they're loving it, and that they're zealous about it, it makes me happy, because, I love children. I love the babies, so it makes me happy, because my sister, so it's just like, when you get here, sir, you're gonna love what you're telling me about the whole time. So it is even in person, definitely.
Shalom. May the Most High be praised. Put on down. Put on down. Yes?
I just wanted to add that it's truly a humble honor to hear these Yaladim really expound on what the Most High has allowed us to show them, what He has shown us to allow us to show them. And as she stated, just like it takes a village. Like this is a village. I know my children are safe, and there's a difference between going somewhere and experiencing kindness, and on the other side, knowing the kindness, knowing the love, knowing the value, knowing the servitude that comes from the spirit of whom you are communing with. And like all these children, I always say, because it's true, like, all these babies are mine. I was even telling them earlier today, to hear Jalen get up and speak about what the Most High put on me to tell them was just like mind blowing. It's, oh my goodness, like he remembered, and I just want to give all esteem and honor to the Most High for really pouring into these children in such a way, because they are our future. Like, us doing this, of course, everybody must work out their own deliverance with fear and trembling. But at the same time, if we don't include them, if we don't train them up in the way they should go, Proverbs 22:6, then it's in vain, because then it just falls down to the ground. And we've seen this so many times, as I think brought out in scripture, how so many of our generations have fallen and gone to the Baals and done all these things. But it's like, to witness and to bear witness, I've been working in these children at these tiny ages. It's just so humbling. And so I just don't wanted to say I'm grateful for that.
May the Most High be praised. That's what it's all about. Yes?
I wanted to do a commandment.
Okay.
And one of the ones I wanted to do is the one where it says honor your mother and father. I like this one because it tells, if you read the scripture, it also tells you if you honor them, your days will be long. And I just wanted to tell everyone that.
Torah.
May the Most High be praised. Torah. And thank you for telling us that. We gotta go start honoring our mother and fathers more than we've done in the past. Thank you. We wouldn't want our days to be short. All right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to give us a commandment? No?
I have a commandment.
All right.
I was going to do Leviticus 19. It's interesting because this is the love chapter, right? From verse 9 and beyond. But I think it's interesting because even within the verses 9 and beyond, it's all about the neighbor. So specifically, this one, it says, verse 11 was what I was going to use, but then somebody took my, was it do not steal? Right. So then you got do not lie, do not deceive one another. But even the verse 12, right? That's the verse 11, and every other verse is dealing with the neighbor. But look at verse 12, and do not swear falsely by my name, and so profane the name of your Elohim. I am the Most High, right? It would seem as though the Most High is talking about himself, which that's true as well. But by you swearing falsely, by utilizing his name to somebody else, then you're not loving your neighbor because you're lying to your neighbor. All of it is just connected. So that's my thoughts on that. I just thought it was interesting because you're swearing falsely, but you're doing it deceiving and lying, and then stealing the choice of whatever the matter might be to your neighbor because you didn't tell that neighbor the truth. And you utilize what that neighbor believed to be the power of Israel because you to confirm or make them think, oh, he got to be telling the truth. She has to be telling the truth. That's my take on that.
May the Most High be praised. We got so many people that abuse that and will lie in the name of the Most High, look you right in your face and be lying to you. So many people. It's sad. It really is. Now, so y'all know, we started doing these commandments maybe 26, 27 years ago. So you might come into a lot of communities that do the same thing or similar thing. Because a lot of us were originally, when we started out, 30 of us, 40 of us, they all grew off and went into different places. Some of them left the law, but the majority of them stayed. But we used to didn't let you open your book. We like what Yasmin did. You had to get up here and recite from memory the laws of the Creator, verbatim from the book. And if you weren't able to do that, it's cool, but we never went into the book to cheat. Now we got this new age Israelites. They don't even question, they just pull their book up and read directly from the book and ain't ashamed, ain't embarrassed that they didn't remember. Some of them don't get a commandment to the moment before you call them. But back in the day, we wasn't allowed to do that. We had to go straight from memory. And that way you really learned it. But what we do today has been added on by explanations and all that stuff. You did give your commandment, you did explain it, but that was basically the end of it. But now we go deeper into it, which reinforces it. So now you remember it. See, all this has a science to it. Now you remember it so much more. Now when you hear a commandment, it's almost like that song. I think it was Jalen said, when you hear that song, was it so Shalom Ho? When you hear that song, you remember the place where you were. When you hear that commandment, now you remember there's conversations around it, and it helps you to get that understanding of what that commandment actually meant. And that's why we do this, so that the laws of the Most High will be rehearsed in your mind over and over and over. And if you notice, a lot of people say the same commandment every other week. They only got 2 commandments. Every one week they say this one, the next week they say the other one. The next week they say this one, the next week they say the other one. And they do that over and over and over. But they are learning still because everybody else of their commandments and all the conversations that's taking place, it seeps into their subconscious mind and they learn. All right, let me see what I want to give y'all as a commandment today. Thou shalt not steal. How about
It's been taken.
that? Not only has it been taken, but it's one of the 10 commandments. The adults are not supposed to say any of the 10 commandments. From Exodus 1 down to, what is it, 18, something like that. We can't say any of those are what we call baby commandments. They're for the children. We are supposed to say the hard commandments, the strong, the lengthy commandments. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not rape. We ain't supposed to say those. We ain't supposed to. All right, so let's think about it. Every 50th year is the year of release, the year of Jubilee. And you're supposed to return back to your neighbor, which was originally his, that you may have borrowed or purchased. It always has to return back to him in the 50th year. If you were to loan somebody some money, then you get that money back based on how long that 50th year is, so that you get all your money back before that 50th year comes. Because if you don't get it back by that 50th year, you don't get it. And all of Israel had to obey that, had to abide by that. You just let it go. The problem is today, we don't know when that 50th year is based upon our lifespan today. This could be the 50th year. We don't know, because our forefathers lost track of it through all the rigmarole that we've been through. That would be a good commandment for us to begin to practice again. But in the process of practicing it, we have to have order, we have to have a government, we have to have a structure. And we don't have those things right now on a mass level where everybody can begin to honor it. May the Most High bring that back to our consciousness one day. All right. Please let us still use the book. Yeah, y'all can still use the book, but you got to still learn these things so that you become a walking book, so that the scriptures is in your heart and your mind. Like the Father said, he would place it, he'd give us a new covenant. That new covenant will be in our inward parts, not in the book. He ain't talking about the New Testament. He's talking about writing and inscribing his law in your inward parts. And that ain't my words, they're his words. He said that. And that's what a lot of people don't go right. They go wrong because they think that it's talking about a new book. And that's not what he's saying. He explains that. I think that's Jeremiah 33. Yeah, 33 and 31, I think. Or 33 and 33.
31.
Who is that snoring? That's the baby? She sleep that hard.
She go.
And how old is she?
She's 5.
Oh man, wait till she get 30. She gonna wake up the block. Oh man. All right. Did you brothers want to give a commandment? Or you gave one? You want to give a commandment? All right, wonderful. Give me time to think of another one. 31.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it is. 31. Not 33. What did I say? 33 or did I say 31?
33, 31. Well, you said both of them.
Yeah, it's 31.
But you was there. That was gonna be my question while he getting his scripture.
Yeah.
What's your take on? Because I do this too, on certain things. Like, what if a person could quote it and know it, but just don't remember that? Because did they know the book and verse? They didn't have verses. Back
No,
then.
we didn't have to know
So-
where it's located.
Exactly. So that's what I
We
was
just
wondering.
had to straight say the commandment.
Cool. So that's why I was wondering
Yeah.
if somebody did that back then, 27 years ago when y'all did it.
Yeah,
If they just said, circumcise your heart.
yeah, we knew.
We'll
the
know
commandment.
then. Okay.
We
Gotcha.
didn't necessarily know the navigation of it.
Gotcha.
I was, because I put it in myself to learn that book where certain things are located in verses. And it's been so long because I used to be in battles with people.
Yeah.
Like,
That's how it was.
I mean, we would spend hours debating with people about scriptures. So I had to know exactly what the scripture was. So I placed it in my memory. A lot of those scriptures have been lost. I don't know exactly where they at. Yeah, but I get around somewhere in the ballpark and then I can find it. Back then, Oh, no, that's Deuteronomy 6:4. No,
Right.
no, that's Exodus 12:1. Yeah, I can still do that with most things, but not like I used to.
Yeah.
I've forgotten more than I know now. Pray the will and I'll get it all back. Y'all gonna help make me sharp, though. Y'all gonna keep me on my toes, like boxing.
Most High just took you in a different, focus. 'Cause
Yeah.
when we first started, we did the battling thing too.
Yeah.
I was very sharp, but then I started getting into Hebrew and all that history and all that. I'm like, okay, let them do that. Let them battle.
All right, y'all debating about what scripture to use? Are you ready? He said, "Did you go?" No, I ain't go. Oh, I don't know.
It's as simple as commandment of help yourself, or help yourself and you'll help your neighbor, and vice versa. Simply because in emotional times when things start getting hard for people and it becomes what you consider pressure or a lot of people think bearing, it tends to, in some cases, force you to force yourself into a place of solitude. A place where you think your emotions are being a bit sporadic and you feel almost overworked because you think if you say something to somebody, it's gonna come off harsh or mean or rude, or basically what you say will impact that person and a negative influence that will cause them to not want to deal with you anymore. It was a state of mindset that I found myself personally. So you can say it was a bit of a testimony, if you will, for the time. And honestly, after well, of course, first and foremost, being in the hospital, when we first got the news, it took everything in me, including the energy of each and every family member around me, not to physically do what I want to, because I'm just speaking organically here, in this instance. I have temper. I have temper, but I also have self-control. Self-control because I have discipline. I have discipline because I have good followers, I have good leaders. And basically, in the way that both my Ab and Ima honestly helped structure me to the young man that I am now. And before, honestly, every mistake I've made, I can say when I was chastised for it, it was a feeling of rebuke, yes, a feeling of resentment of what you did was wrong, but at the same time, they never chastised me without showing me what to do correctly in the next instance. Every time a path in my life was closed off of doing something of negative influence, another was opened up for me to do the correct thing. Basically, and learning these things and the influence and having people like that in your life 100% of the time, your influencers, every day, and you would always do what you did. Honestly, I never understood the meaning whenever I would ask them, hey, can we have friends? They would say, you're not ready for that thing not yet. And they would tell me basically, you don't need that just yet. You have siblings. Honestly, I always thought about that. Yes, I have siblings, but siblings not the same thing as a friend. I was wrong. Because when you come to the point in your life where you literally feel like you are caved in on all sides, and yes, you understand, you read the scriptures, but when you're emotionally overwhelmed, you feel like, I don't feel like reading this right now. It feels like it's going to give me a sense of false hope that yes, we're going to win in the end, but where's the winning part? I honestly had to step out of myself for a minute. Honestly, stepping out of myself to a point to where I had to see out of the emotional unhingement that I was going through. I had to step into a place where I was not being self-influenced. I had to step out of my ego. I had to shrink my ego down a bit because honestly, I got to a point where I really wasn't talking to anybody. I wasn't eating anything. Even now, I'll be honest, I'm working at appetite. It was honestly a blessing I was able to eat today. And for those who don't know, ever since 13, I've been suffering from insomnia. So limited hours of sleep. And working with that, I've been working to keep myself on a steady pace and get the appropriate hours in. Keep myself maintained, but also make sure I understand the key point in understanding that it's not just about me maintaining myself, but those around me. And even handling a situation where it may seem overwhelming, understanding that it's not just 100% about me. It wasn't just me that lost my unit, it was all of us that physically lost it. And basically stepping out of myself for a moment to really analyze that, understand and compare and contrast how I was feeling with that of everyone else in that room in that very moment. Because that one pinnacle moment you can never get back. The day you get the news, it's one of the heaviest feelings you could ever feel. It's literally almost indescribable. And when you feel it, it's something that honestly I could say it felt like my blood pressure skyrocket far beyond the way I've never felt before. I physically wanted to put hands on the people, but by people, I mean the doctors, because we never been ones to trust the hospital. And then to get that news from people, not just people, but foreigners, people you know you don't trust on a regular day-to-day basis, it did. But honestly, what did even better was knowing that I had people to fall back on and lean on and basically help absorb a lot of that aggression and help me turn it into something else. Honestly, because I'm an artist and I've been learning to turn that aggression into intuition, turn it into ingenuity, turn it back into story creation, turn it, of course, into sharing pieces of myself that I shunned off before back with the collective as a mission, because I can't love them as I love myself. I'm holding pieces of myself back. And if I do the same thing, who's to say they're going to trust me with the most sensitive parts of themselves? So by showing and doing so in a matter of easy influence, if you would, for myself, to family members who are already accustomed to my presence, I felt it is a major step closer from recovering from this major event that's happened to us and allowed me basically to see in retrospect, not just all the time how I see, because even when you read the book of Judges, being a judge is not about seeing one side of the situation and acting on it. But a judge always sees both sides. It doesn't always mean they support the other side. But seeing both sides of the situation always helps you to properly evaluate and basically calculate your next move before you do it. And honestly, in this next step of life, I've been very ponderous, very, very inquisitive. I honestly pray before I make any step. If you never want to misstep and end up regretting the next thing because you don't know how great or minute the effect of your failure could be, or how you could fail and the door would close off where you could have helped someone else who really needed it at that time. And I saw that at that very moment in that chapter of life, I was that person who needed that help. But it wasn't the fact that there was nobody in place to help me. It was just simply the fact that I put myself in a position and shunned away when it should have been that I stepped forward in that position because I'm both younger brother, but I'm also still an older brother. And in this time, I've been reaffirming my maturity and my position, authority as a brother, and basically standing my ground here and just being there for whoever needs me in the Hebrew community. But most importantly, the prime healthcare of them.
Very good.
God bless.
May the Most High be praised. When you say love your neighbor as you love yourself, who's your neighbor? All of Yaakov?
Yes.
Very good. Strong. I mean, every time y'all get up here, y'all impress me. It's not too much I can say. I'm gonna have to write a book and put y'all in it. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to write a book and put y'all in it. Yeah, it's not too many stories that I know of that are like this. I don't spend too much time on y'all because I'm gonna get y'all up in here crying with me. We're gonna move on. Let's go on. Okay, it's now 6:02. Shabbat services is now officially coming to an end. We're not going to get into the scriptures, but if y'all want to keep talking, we can talk. So we don't have to go anywhere yet. We don't even have to close it out yet. If y'all want to talk, we can talk, but we're not going to read any scriptures because we go into the scriptures and we got to wait till all that's over. And when I start teaching, I take my time. You get to the first two verses and we done spent an hour already with the first two verses. So I'll get into that. It's up to y'all what y'all want to do. So who would like to talk next? Anybody else want to tell us something? Anybody else want to share something? Yes, come on up, sis.
Oh, I can't.
You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
I just want your voice to be heard so they can hear you in the audience.
I just wanted to say that I'm grateful for bringing up the information about the children because I've been, we live a different way of life, and oftentimes, we may get scrutinized or, judged harshly for being like too strict or, oh, you don't let your children watch any TV or, they only have their little, what are those called? The tablets for school. And literally, and I tell them this, and so it was very comforting to know that, what I'm teaching them and what I'm doing for them, and for them to be able to hear from community, from people that love them also. This is why we do this. This is why I don't let you watch TV. I know, I'm already aware, they all things in praise to the Father. I'm very aware of what these children's shows are doing and how they are much more detrimental than the adult shows. And that is because they are trying to get them. They know the scripture, they know the word of God, they know Proverbs 22:6. So if they can train them up in that way, they know that they won't depart from that way. So it is our duty and our job to train them up in the way of the Most High, so that they understand that influence. And so I also want to, I thank y'all for allowing, the Most High to speak through y'all and confirming that, because I know, even children, they can be like, oh my gosh, mom, she tripped. She don't let us do nothing, but, having that reassurance and them hearing what y'all have to say and, reaffirming what I'm teaching them. Both of them are looking at me as like, that's what you said, like that. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm so happy to be here. So yeah, I love you.
That's that kindred spirit. That's what that is.
That example that she brought out is what I continue to share with people outside of the community, like my family, when they always bring up that train up a child. That experience that she just, I don't know if you just got it now or you got it since you've been around here, but for the child to see other children, training up a child in the way it should go, that is, yes, individually, but it's really collectively as a community. Because you could train a child up, and I said this before, I'm gonna try to be brief with it. You could train a child up as much as you want to the best of your ability. But if you're sending them to schools and if you're letting them watch all these shows, their biggest influence is outside of you. So for them to sit up here and see all the other children of parents that might not be in a community, but they're training up their child the best as they can, but they're seeing other children like them and making them happy and smile. That's training up a child in the way that it should go. Everybody can't be like Ab and Aim, and have 9 children with so many, to where y'all all see it. It's a lot of people that got 1 or 2 and they don't have nobody else. So all praises to the Most High for what you all praises to the Most High for you, Ab and Aim, for what you all did. But I just wanted to say, to me, that's what train up a child. And everyone here has heard me say this often. I don't knock people that quote it because I feel I know what their thought process is. But the outcome is still the same. They train them up. When they get older, the world gets them. But if we can do it in a community way, it'll be a better chance of more success.
So we all agree that it's best that we all live together. When the holy day is over, we can reach the last day. We can do this thing for the children, for ourselves, for the Creator. You ain't got to go nowhere. Think about it. Your school right here. Where you got to go? Where you going back to? You stay right here. School here. We create some work. So work to be here. What's next? We all testifying as to how good and how pleasant it is for the brethren to dwell together in unity. Is that right? How necessary and essential it is for the development of our children. Is that right? Y'all ain't got to go nowhere. We'll figure out a way to make it work. Believe me. We got 110 acres of land here. You mean you can't go somewhere and find where you want to put your house? Something wrong. Something wrong. We on the wrong page then. So like I said, anything else? Anybody else want to talk about something? What else we want to discuss, y'all? Oh, I said, yup, stay home. Facts. Sister Cecilia said facts. She's right. Where we got to go? Why do we got to go? What's out there for us? Death and destruction. The vast number. Yeah. So if y'all don't want to leave, just, y'all ain't got to go nowhere. We will give you a place to live. We will find a place for you to live. You, huh? Yeah, that's it. And if you ain't got enough, we'll help you get the rest. That's how we play. Don't believe me? Challenge me on it. See what happens. If you're living like us. All right. Any other questions or comments, family? I didn't want to say I was going to gate. That was the first thing in my mind. I didn't want to say it. It made people look like I was crazy. But in my mind, the first thing that came to my mind was, we gonna lock y'all in here. And I wasn't gonna say that. I held it back. The creator said, switch that up. Switch that up. They're gonna look at you like a man. So to hear her say it was refreshing. But believe me, y'all ain't got to go nowhere. And I ain't saying this because we desperate. We're not desperate. But the energy, the spirit, and the presence is recognized and it's respected. These are the type of people we need around in our circumference who help us to grow and to elevate. Yes, be more beneficial for us all. All right.
That was a Mona, by the way.
My wife says she already done it. She already locked the gate locked.
I want to know. You leaving?
Oh, y'all didn't know?
They can't see it.
Yeah, she said that. She said lock the gate. Yeah, she didn't want y'all to go know anyway. And anybody come, we gotta make them go around the side. Y'all gotta go around, squeeze between the tree and the pole. Squeeze. Then you bring it, throw it over. You can't open the gate because they're gonna rush out. Yeah. That's all right. May the Most High be praised. The Most High knows our intentions. He knows it's pure. That's right. So we finished yet? Or we still want to talk? And we in a rush. I'm still up. Y'all still want to talk or y'all done? Yeah.
Wanted to add on again to what Jalen was saying. Like,
So what? It's okay. It's our 10th time.
I was so looking, trying to see.
But as far as like just the musical influence, because when my sister got here and sang, and I could hear the bass, and I heard all of it, and it literally.
Did you hear me too?
So
I was doing something too. Why y'all always leaving me out? Y'all always leaving me out. All right, go ahead. Thank you.
You know, music is so, and I talk to my high schoolers about it.
We can't hear.
That are all intertwined is so influential and so pivotal, and to literally feel the influence of the vibrations. You know, I showed them on the guitar how the string vibrates, literally a vibration.
Hold on one second. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Princess, can y'all hear us?
It was going in and out.
Is it better?
Is it better now?
Well, it was really Zachariah. I could hear y'all clear. I'm saying back wherever they are standing.
I'm gonna turn around and face it for more so her way.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
You good?
Here, okay. But so it's so influential, and just seeing and starting to understand more of how music works and how the Most High used the music in His own, you know, in His own way to make us like win battles and things like that. You know, He would send the musicians out first because it does something to you. You know, if you're getting ready to go out into battle, you know, it's kind of a stressful time. And although, you know, we depend on the Most High, we are encouraged by Him. We're like, okay, Father, you got us. We are still flesh, and so there's going to be those emotions that kind of creep in, like, well, what if I die? What if I'm going home to my life and things like that? I'm sure, you know, y'all would experience.
Nah, real soldiers don't think like that.
Right? Well, they're not supposed to, right? But if you go and you know you're getting ready to go into battle and you hear these drums and it's literally like do 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 do, it does something to you. It resonates with your heart rate. It literally, yeah. So it's like, yeah. So then you're not here, We read this in scripture all the time. When King David played and that Ruach left King Saul. We see this so many times. And, you know, the enemy is not ignorant of what Yahweh is doing. He's not ignorant of the things that, you know, he uses. The thing about him is that he, you know, the enemy, the adversaries, they corrupt it and they twist it to their own doing and they pollute it in order to have their own gain, which is witchcraft in itself. But they're very aware of how the Most High uses tools. And so when we are connected to him, when we praise, like I am so excited for this collective praise that we are about to do because it shifts. Like, I don't want to use Christian jargon, but it literally shifts the atmosphere. It changes our DNA. It restructures us. The vibrations and how things literally are shifted and moved with music, it changes people. It allows the Ruach HaKodesh to dwell in people. He inhabits the praise of his people. So just the influence that music has on people. And I just want to tell y'all, like, the way y'all sang today, it was so uplifting and so refreshing and just absolutely beautiful. It moved us. And that's what moved music to. It moves people. And so we want to be moved towards the Most High. We want to praise the Most High with everything that we have so that we can be moved and we can be influenced in his steadfast spirit. So yeah, that's all I had.
Oh, it sounded like you, that was a prelude. It sounded like you were ready to sing for us or something.
No.
It sounded like you already know.
You said you can't wait?
Yeah, so shift the DNA. Hey, sis. Let me get my phone. Shift the DNA. Sing anything. Shift the DNA for us. Show us what you're talking.
Let me see. I don't even know.
That's all right. Say what you, I don't know.
Daddy, don't look at me. Freestyle.
I know. I'm like, Ruach HaKodesh, please come back to me. All praises. Please come back to me. I've been walking this journey of such misery. It's been troubling. It's out of control. And how dare I let you go? And just to let you know another time, one more, surely I need your soul. Ruach HaKodesh, please come back to me. All praises. I'm down on my knees. And I ain't gonna quit until I get a grip of you. Oh, set me free. Ruach HaKodesh, come back to me now, yeah, right now. Sweet Spirit, I know Yahweh holds the crown. Oh, the love is all around. Yahweh, hold it down. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Find yourself, find yourself. Get up, get up, get up. Mind yourself. Get up, wake up, wake up. Find yourself, find yourself. Get up, get up, get up. Mind yourself. Wake up, get up. Mind yourself. Find yourself.
Hey, both sides, we got so much time.
I try to contain myself, you know. I try not to give y'all too much. I'm messing.
So, with all this time that we got in here, what we gonna do with it?
It's called the Beulah Band.
The Beulah Band. You say you sing too?
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, all right. May the Creator be praised. Absolutely. You did a wonderful job. Yes.
Where you at, Jaden?
My wife said we should do a Beulah Land album.
Yeah, not for
I didn't know that.
I'm always putting somebody on the spot. Sometimes you gotta press on the people a little bit and give up a whole lot.
I thought she was giving us like 20 seconds. She went in for like 48 minutes.
That was beautiful. Well, we got so much talent. I just love to get women to sing, man, when they can sing. Because I know some women that cannot sing that be trying to sing and they can't sing. Oh, I know some that can't sing.
Y'all notice what he said. Y'all got to pay attention to the words. He said women. He didn't say men. He made sure he didn't say the guy.
You know, I always wanted to take singing lessons so I could learn how to sing. Because y'all wouldn't be able to stop me if I knew how to sing. I used to be at our temple in Philly. I used to be singing all the time, and people in the audience would be like, hold their ears. Yeah, hold their ears. But you know what I always said to myself? I'm singing to the Creator. I ain't singing to y'all. If I had a voice to sing to y'all, then I would sing to y'all. But I'm singing to the Most High. Let me see that song I used to sing. Let me give y'all a break. I'm just joking. Ain't no way to y'all be, hey, listen, y'all be chasing me out this game. Get out of here, man. Throwing bricks.
The princess say no. Oh, she said, oh.
I wouldn't want to cause y'all to be so get in trouble with the Creator by throwing rocks at me. I wouldn't want that to happen. So I'm not going to entice you in that area. But I would like to get singing lessons. My wife, she teaches music, and I would like to learn how to sing. I would. Because if I could sing for real, like I said, y'all want me to stop. Man, we open class with a song. Before we do this, we got to sing. After that, we got to sing. This guy Chris making prayer sing again.
You be like my father.
Yeah, man.
That's what my father do.
Yeah.
He a pastor, boy. Trust me.
He said,
You and him over by campus.
there you go.
Come on now.
That would be me. I'll be getting it in, boy. Y'all be like, he doing sing.
He sang for 30 minutes before he started
He
preaching.
get up and start teaching. He get up and start teaching. In the middle of his teaching, he starts singing.
Yeah.
Then get back to the teaching again.
Start reading a verse and going to my father. He just reads a verse. He just start what they call it. I can't even think of terminology. Something that the pastors do.
Oh yeah, that's that church flow. Yeah.
It's something.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Anyone else want to make a statement? Sis, when I was saying that y'all need to get together, I wasn't trying to tell you to be quiet. Because I noticed you ain't saying a word. After that, I was just making light of the situation. No, I don't mean no disrespect, no harm. A young brother did an excellent job. Your son did an excellent job. You've done an excellent job. If you got some more to bring it. And she looking up in the air like, well, I really did. Yeah, you ain't got to be. Yeah, you ain't got to hold back from us, man. That's what this is about. Why don't you come up here? Talk to the people in the audience so they can hear you real good.
Frequency from our natural voices and instruments is powerful. Yeah.
You got that art school. Art school.
Yeah.
I was just gonna go off of what more Zakaria was saying about the music and sound. I mean, we could be here all day just talking about the importance of sound. Science has even shown sound therapy. Certain music can even eradicate cancer cells, for example, and heal certain diseases and alleviate depression, things like that. And one of the things that was so eye-opening to me, again, all praise to the Creator for allowing me to see the other side and experience different spiritual paths and live in His mercy and come through it to understand Him all the more better. Because when I was dealing with people who practice African spirituality, I saw the effects of music. They have certain drum beats that invoke certain deities, and they're very distinct. And, I've actually seen people come into possession with certain entities and certain spirits, and all contingent upon the music. Even in they have these ceremonies of ancestor worship and certain songs, even the old so-called Negro spiritual, certain songs would bring up certain spirits. And even if it was a different individual, that same spirit would come if that song was played. And so, we know that frequency, everything is a vibration, even colors and sound, but sound in particular goes straight to the soul. It bypasses your consciousness, it bypasses your critical thinking mind, and it triggers things from deep within on a cellular level. And so that's why music is one of the main tools of the enemy to deceive us, to inculcate evil within us in different ways. I always say between the music and the food, the enemy got his strategy laid all the way out, but we have to be mindful of sound, even word vibration. The words that we speak are so important. Of course, we know our word says life and death is in the tongue, and we have to be extremely mindful of that. The frequencies of words, and that's why I love to study languages and linguistics, and even etymological roots. Knowing even the English language is a compilation from Latin to even the Germanic languages. And when you know that, that's why I think as a people, not only is it imperative for us to learn our language, but also mastery even of the oppressor's languages, even of the lands in which we've been brought into captivity, because we have to understand the spells literally that they put on us through the words, through language, and linguistics, and again, back to music and sound, vibration are so intricately interconnected. We know the universe was created through utterance, through what our Creator said and uttered. And a lot of that even goes into the vibration of the sounds, even in Hindu theology. That's why when the Buddhists or the Hindus chant, they say, the different vibrations, and they believe that it's a whole science to it. There's, I can't think of the name right now, but I think the Schumann frequency, and they say that is the frequency that brought about creation. And when we think about the mantras that they say, some equate it with the mantra, I don't want to say it.
Yeah, don't say
If it's not,
It's good.
but it's a certain frequency of that saying that corresponds with this frequency that science has supposedly found that led to creation. But again, sound and vibration and song, we have to sing the praises to our Creator. And so much of, we sing so much to all these other entities and deities, and that's why music, a lot of times in the industry, if you notice, a lot of the celebrities started out in the church. They started out singing worship songs, and then they become the most corrupt and over-sexualized, the most violent ones, because the power of that voice and that influence, they have to use that to promote the wrong message. And it's funny, you said even how you said you love to listen to women sing, women's voices in particular. There are different traditions and beliefs concerning not only the prayers of a woman, but the voice of a woman in general, and how the voice of a mother, her prayers, her songs, these trigger very primal memories that go deep. This is why they also say women are the first teachers of children. It goes deep into the subconscious in a way, the sound of a woman's voice, particularly through song. That's why children, we remember our mother's lullabies. We remember the songs they sang to us. We remember their women in a certain way because it resonates on a very deep, again, cellular level. These are just some of the thoughts that were rolling around in my mind as you spoke and Kari spoke, and that's what I had.
All right, may the Most High be praised. Torah Rabah. Brother Yahoo, Yirmiyahu says, I'm ready to put the drum set in the Knesset.
Let's go.
And gosh, we just have to make room for it, Lo, and I thought about right there. There you go, right there. Right next to the keyboard, right next to the microphone, in this little area right here.
You the man, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Let's go. The keyboard, guitar, drums, and the voices of the land, we can have a Shabbat jumping low, physically and spiritually. May the Most High be praised. We get it. In the Most High's time, it's going to happen. But what I wanted to say before we close out today, that I am so grateful and thankful to be in the midst of such intelligent, inspirational, spiritual people. Really. You wouldn't get that just by looking at us. You'd be like, oh, them just some black folk. Until you opened your mouth, got up and spoke and voiced your opinion and expressed yourself, opened your vocal cords and sang and sang and sang and sang and just sang and spoke with your soul. What you do? Oh, he was mumbling some words. But he can sing. Don't call him out. He can go. Why don't you show him what you got?
You're not gonna put me in it.
Why don't you show him
I
what
got
you
the sniffles right now.
He got the sniffles. Here you go right now. He got the sniffles.
I can sing something, but I don't
But y'all know
know.
we're gonna give him tomorrow, right? We're gonna get out there tomorrow.
Okay.
We're gonna have the recording devices on tomorrow. We built a stage the other day. What was that, 2 days ago?
Okay.
We built a stage out there for all the performers to perform on. This is the blessing of having all this land out here. You can do almost anything you want. So we built the stage and we're gonna set all the chairs up in the front, and the performers, they're gonna come up and sing and dance and do all types of stuff, man. Yeah, somebody dancing. You can't have no sing without dancing. Singing gonna make you move. All right, here you go. So we're gonna get it in. Y'all might see me move a foot or so. I love music. I really do. You wouldn't know that, but I do. I love music. Music speaks to your soul. It's way beyond just words. Music come in a certain melody and rhythm and tone. And words, music, yes. That's why they say music calms the savage beast. Yep. Sit down. He'll still growl at you. Start singing to him.
I'm gonna do that to Blue. I'm gonna do that to Blue.
Yeah.
Blue be at you. Y'all met Blue yet? Anybody met Blue?
We gotta know.
Blue's Clues.
All right. Anyone else want to comment or say anything before we? I know I can't be the only one happy today. Yes.
I'm not happy, but while the sun is still shining, I would like to be able to tour the land with my mission while I still early.
All right, y'all. Anybody want to make prayer tonight? Anybody want to close it out in prayer?
Well, I had something to say.
Oh, you got something to say? Okay. I'm sorry. You got something to say. Go ahead, now.
No, I just wanted to say I am very thankful to hear all of our Yelladim speak today. It's such a blessing, as Zakaria mentioned earlier, when you hear them speak and they are reciting or even remembering some of the things that they were taught. And then just today I sat back and, I'm in my separation time, right? And it was funny because some of the children were like, oh, I can't touch you, and asking the questions. And, it's, at one point, women were put to shame, when you're unclean and stuff, made to feel like, oh my gosh. But it actually felt good because I felt like we were teaching the children along with, and I was able to, show them how we separate and how we take it so seriously. And then the children start taking it seriously too. So even with that, when we were talking about how we train up a child, because when they start to see it and they understand, okay, well, I don't have to feel, especially for our young daughters, because it's really for them, they don't have to feel ashamed when they're in their purification separation time. They just have to know the boundaries and then teach everybody else around them the boundaries. And so that felt good, to be able to do that. And then for people to just be like, oh, okay, because that's what in our community we have to become. It has to be normalized that this is, we have those moments. And it's not something to banish a woman or make her feel like, oh my gosh, you're not welcome amongst us. You have some disease, but to actually teach the children the understanding of it. And just listening to even, like I'm listening and I'm hearing Jalen just going and talking, and, I'm just smiling because, like, you never know what a child has inside of them, and he has so much inside of him. But, even when I'm listening to them in class and I see the potential, you see the potentials in all the children. But even listening to Solomon today, now during class, Solomon better be talking and because I think he got it. He just, you know, um, but yeah, so I'm just thankful, and I'm sitting here with Shakira and Nefertiti, and they're here making all type of crafts for everybody, and I'm just like, this is the beautiful thing about being in a community. So yes, as Nasika said, the gates have been locked. Keys are lost. I have really no idea where the keys are. And so if you want to get out, you got to squeeze through, but that means you're going to walk because your car is going to be in here. So I pray that everybody, have everything they need. And, but thankful. I'm just thankful to have everybody here. The presence is so powerful and it's just so warming. And like I said, just sitting there during lunch and watching everybody interact and the children just bonding, it's beautiful. And I pray that the Most High continues to bless us to have these moments, to have these times, and eventually where we don't have to separate to have these moments, where we can have these moments all the time. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and Zehu.
All right, may the Most High be praised. You want to say something?
No, I want to.
You want to do what?
She wanted to pray us out.
You want to pray us out? Come up to the podium. She gonna pray us out. Huh? Turn those lights off, please. Turn around, face that way, baby girl.
Come back here. Come back here. Turn around this way. It's like that.
Yeah.
After you blow it 3 times, you go.
Thank you for this day. Let it be honoring to you. And thank you for this household. And thank you for my mom.
All right.
The Most High be praised. Amy, is there any announcements we need to make before we close out?
Kane, yes. So just a reminder to all of our listeners, who are out there. The holy days are upon us. Those who acknowledge the holy days during this season. Pesach is coming in Monday night, and Kagmatso pretty much in the same time, in that sliver of time. So I pray that all those who are doing Pesach at this time have a blessed and holy and just a gracious holy week. And also we have our Yellow Dame Spring Ball tomorrow here on the land for our school. And then we're going right into the holy days. So it's a blessed weekend going into a blessed week. But if you want any information, of course, you can instant message any one of us, call any one of us if you have our numbers, email us, and may the Most High be with each and every one of you. Shabbat shalom.
May the Most High be praised. Sis?
So I was about the base, and I noticed that she was in her call out. She said, "Thank you for this household," and she was very clear about that, and recognizing each and every one of us as her household, as her family, as her mishpacha. So thank you for being represented. Representations of the Most High in that fashion, that a 5-year-old can recognize the familial love and the service amongst you all.
May the Most High be praised. A lot of that thank you go to you because you raised her up. You through the Creator's power and blessing, you instilled in her the ability to say and do what her mind told her to do. I didn't see you whispering in her ears. Get up there, you say this. That's right. So it's naturally in her. So she's a very appreciative child, and she just expressed her appreciation. So may the Most High be praised. Any other questions or comments before we close out, family? Anyone? No one? All right. Go toward the land. May the Most High be praised. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat, where are y'all starting at? Because we're going to meet y'all there.
They want to meet y'all where y'all starting.
Down there, maybe.
Oh,
Or
down
you
here?
I want to go back to the camp portion.
Yeah.
All right, they're going to come down there.
All right, see y'all in a minute. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.